Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing here at Talladega Superspeedway for both the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series. And every time we come to Talladega, it always produces one heck of a race. Now, as compared to Daytona, Talladega blows Daytona out of the water in the NASCAR Heat 5 video game. So always look forward to coming to this racetrack. Now, as we come through into the Xfinity Series side of things, we had Chase Elliott in the car for us here in the Money Line 300 at Talladega, so very excited to see what he was going to be able to do. Chase Elliott, always up in the mix when it comes to a plate race like Talladega or Daytona. Surprisingly, he has yet to pick up that Daytona victory now, as he has already done that in Talladega at least. But we would get underway, of course, at the back of the field for Chase as he would get underway, going down towards turn 1. Currently in P1 was Derek Kraus, the rookie, in that number 19 car, as he was looking to have so far a strong season in his rookie season, but definitely some work to do. I don't think you're going to see him move up to the Cup Series in the career mode next season, but potentially the season after, as I really don't expect to see a whole lot of roster changes going into next season in the crew mode like we did coming into this season from last season, but there will of course be some definite changes coming with the new teams and whatnot, and I will be announcing the Red Bull driver lineup sometime soon. As you guys know, I just announced in the last episode that Harrison Burton will replace Martin Truex Jr. in the 19 car, who is retiring at the end of the season in the career mode. So very excited to see what Burton's going to be able to do with him now being in a top tier ride. Of course, he started in the JGR pipeline on the Cup Series side as well with the 96 car last season. This season he's moved up to the 95 team, just a little bit of an improvement compared to the 96, and now he will be getting the full-on 5-star experience in the Cup Series with that 19 car next season in the career mode. I'm also going to try and make a new design for that car so you guys can see. Maybe it probably won't be a Bass Pro Shops car. It might be a DEX imaging car that you'll see potentially on that number 19 next season in the career mode. But we come through focusing again on the Xfinity Series side of things here. Chase was moving his way forwards as this race went on, and he just kind of continued moving himself towards the front of the pack here in Talladega. Now, as he was up towards the top 15, he would then be able to get up inside the top 10 there, as he was up the inside of the 68 of Brandon Brown. We came through now towards the final few laps of this race. He made a 3 wide up the inside of the 11 of Haley, as well as the 7 of Justin Allgaier. Look for a potential announcement coming soon about colleague in the career mode potentially moving up to the Cup Series as well, just like they are in real life now, as Chase Elliott now moved himself up inside the top 5 and even up inside the top 3 once he would complete this pass on the inside of the 1 of Michael Ness. It would come through straight to the final lap now, going down the back straightaway. Chase looking to the outside of the 38 of Jeff Green, as Sam Mayer, the rookie, who's had a bit of a rough season so far, leads the way, as now Chase is side by side, but there's a little bit of contact with the 38 of Green, and now Green's going to go spinning into turns 3, and he's going to cause an incident. The 19 involved as well. Elliott just with a miscalculation there and causes a big incident. The green flag stays up, but Sam Mayer way too far down the field, or way too far down the track to be able to run him down. So Sam Mayer is going to come through after a rough start to his rookie season in the Xfinity Series to pick up his very first win here for JRM in that number 9 car, as Chase Elliott comes through to cross the line in the 2nd position after a last lap incident with Jeff Green as well as Derek Kraus. And I'm sure there was multiple others that may have gotten involved as well, as that was right in front of the field, of course, with Green being in 2nd at the moment of contact with Chase Elliott. But of course, that was not intentional on Chase's part. It just did not work out for him there. But we come through into the Cup Series side of things now here for Talladega Superspeedway with the Razor paint scheme back on the car. We've used the green one as the primary, of course. We've used the pink one. We got to use the blue one sometime soon. I might save that for a night race or something. But I attempted to qualify, of course, now. But as you guys know, it's a play track. We know exactly what's going to happen here, unfortunately, in Talladega. So we come through now through 3 and 4, and then go down the front straight away through the tri-oval, coming through to the line, and it was a solid 49.699, putting us in a P40 qualifying position here for the Geico 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. So just like we expected, of course, now as we check out the top 10 on the grid, Hamlin rounds out the top 10, and Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace round out the front row with Zane Smith and Chase Elliott on row number 2, and then you see Joey Logano, our rival there in that 5th position, and then Eric Jones in the McLaren up in P6. So both McLarens with very strong qualifying efforts, but of course Talladega, you have no idea what's going to happen. Anything can go right or go wrong for any one of these drivers, including myself here on the grid today. And hopefully myself and Logano can kind of stay away from each other for the most part and get that rivalry going in the right direction to get him away from being a rival. Of course, that would be preferred. Now, as you see, no one's sent to the back here for the Geico 500, so we will be starting in the 40th position. All right, boys, not where we want to be starting, but I've had some chances here at Talladega before, so hopefully we can come out on top today. Some confidence for sure coming into the Geico 500. Now as we are underway, the green flag is out, and Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace in the number 42 and the 23 car lead the field to the green flag now, as obviously the inside line always prevails at a track like Talladega, Daytona, and whatnot, so we'll definitely be trying to get down there quickly, but you're definitely going to see me, so far we've had a strong season, so you're definitely going to see me kind of get experimental, try the outside, and make that work if possible now, because I get so bored, to be completely honest with you, if I just run in the same inside lane the whole time. It's kind of like with the online racing stuff, with league racing, when you just kind of ride in a line, it's just so boring, so I always like to try and mix it up a little bit and get up on the outside, and we were immediately making this outside line work here as we go down into turns 3, already 3 wide with Anthony Alfredo, as well as our former teammate of Martin Truex Jr., the 00 of Quinn Houff right in front of us. We're already in the danger zone with the 00 in our vicinity now as we come through out of turn 4, so just trying to get in front of him as quickly as we can now, as we're already going to go 3 wide up the middle potentially here between Houff as well as the 99 of Daniel Suarez and that number or that Trackhouse team. As you guys know, Daniel Suarez picked up his first career victory recently here in the career mode. He will be in the playoffs likely this season, assuming he remains in the top 30 in points, which I would expect to see now, as that car definitely has enough speed to remain in the top 30 in points. As you see, our teammate of Kyle Larson there on the outside with Ryan Preece. He's right behind the 2 of Keselowski as I slice to the inside. A bit of an ambitious move to say the least, but we make it work there as we're right behind that number 99 of Daniel Suarez now, as Chase Elliott in the number 9 car out front right now. He has had quite the rough start to his season here in the career mode now as we start the 10th race of the season, which means 16 races to go after today in the regular season. So Elliott definitely needs to step it up, and with a good run here in Talladega, he could put himself right back into the picture of being in the playoffs now as we come through down the front straightaway. But we've had some surprise winners this season, really spicing things up, where it's going to definitely be a situation where I think we see some big names missing the playoffs this season. Right now in the bubble, we got drivers like Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott on the outside looking in as well, so it's definitely going to be an interesting playoff. Right now, Bubba Wallace, who you see on the very far outside there, he's currently inside the playoffs now as we came through the try over there to the inside of the 99 of Suarez. So we move now into P27 as we go down the front straight away, making that move work as we continue to work our way forwards here. But we were definitely taking our time, to say the least now, as it was actually the McLaren out front of Zane Smith, the rookie, who's had some ups and downs, but more downs than ups, to say the least, in his rookie season here, as I expected Smith to be the winner of Rookie of the Year. But right now it looks like that's going to go to Austin Cindric, who has had a great start to his rookie season, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit too here recently. So it's going to be interesting to see how that rookie battle plays out between specifically Austin Cindric as well as Zane Smith. Brandon Jones in the number 96 car has also been doing pretty well in the equipment that he's been given. Now, as they're 4 wide in front of us, the pole sitter of Ross Chastain, he's been falling off quite a bit here in the start now, as I thought about taking it 5 wide there, but now Chastain's out of it, so I decided, you know what, we're going to go 4 wide up the inside of Austin Dillon, Ryan Newman, as well as Matt DiBenedetto up there in that number 10 car for Stewart-Haas Racing. DiBenedetto just picked up his first win of the season recently here at Bristol Motor Speedway, so his second win of his Cup Series career. Last season he picked up his first career win in the Coca-Cola 600 now, as Joey Logano, our rival, finds himself leading the way into turns 3 on lap 7 of 14 here on this first and opening stage at Talladega Superspeedways. We've now entered the top 20, so just consistently moving our way forwards now as we come through out of turn 4. Some help there from the RCR driver of Austin Dillon in that number 3 Dow Camaro here as we close in on the back of Truex. We look to the inside of him now. William Byron, our affiliate teammate, just picked up his first career win as well now, as we're going to go 4 wide up the middle here between Smith, Byron, as well as the 95 of Harrison Burton. Now a little bit of contact there with Byron, but we all keep it going now, as I kind of made a mistake making this move here, because I was kind of anticipating clearing the 88, dropping down in front of him. Obviously you can see there I unfortunately was not able to clear that number 88 Exalta Camaro, so we get stuck here on the top. Then I actually had some help from Zane Smith, who was committed to pushing me, but he pushed me a little bit too much, and I ended up carrying the momentum into the outside wall as I continue to look for an opportunity here to get down. And finally, out of turns 2, P22 behind Daniel Suarez in P21. We get back down to the bottom, and now we just kind of follow Suarez for another lap or so as we came through the center of 1 and out of turns 2, passing William Byron to the back of Suarez, who goes to up a lane, so I decided to just take that opportunity and get to the inside of him. So we pass Suarez and continue moving our way forwards here on the bottom, and now there was one problem. There was no way of making it on field here in stage 1, so I was expecting to see exactly that right there. Some drivers coming into the pit lane, LaJoy as well as John Hunter Nemechek come in there on lap 11, and then we would just carry on here on the bottom lane now as we were approaching our turn to come into the pit. So sure enough, a lap later on lap 12, I myself and a bunch of other drivers like Kevin Harvick, the 2014 Cup Series champion, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, Brandon Jones, Michael McDowell, we all come into the pit lane, Daniel Suarez as well, and behind you see some of our former teammates like Kyle Busch as well as Martin Truex Jr. A very easy call to make, but what happened after taking 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 tires, the caution came out while we were on the pit lane, ending stage 1 early, and unfortunately we would now get credited with 24th instead of having a chance to maybe get a top 10. But the fortunate thing is we did not go a lap down, and a few drivers actually got trapped a lap down as Noah Gragson would pick up the stage victory. So then we stay out, as all the guys that had stayed out when that caution came out had to come in here for the start of stage 2. So now all of a sudden we go from P24 in stage 1 to lining up P5 here, as that was a little bit of a confusion going on with everything, but we find ourselves here in P5 with 14 laps to go here in the second stage, so the same length of stage 1. So immediately assuming that once again we cannot make it here on, or if it stays green, but if we do get one caution, it should be enough to get us to the finish of the second stage as we're up the inside of our rival of Joey Logano. Definitely some concerns right there when we're around our rival. Harvick unfortunately was nowhere near me here going down the back straightaway, but now he has a huge run behind us, and he's going to carry that momentum down the straightaway, becomes a draft partner, gets into the back of me here as we go down into turn 3, a huge push and a huge move here, 3 wide in the middle between the 17 and the 34, and myself and Kevin Harvick are going to go to the front. Now a huge push from the 2014 champion as we move through into P1. Now what a move that was as we come through into the tri-oval, and now I dive to the inside. I was actually anticipating Harvick to follow me, but I guess he was not clear of the 34, so now we're side by side at the line as we come through to complete the first and opening lap of this second stage here as we go down into turn 1. Now Harvick has some help from the 96 of the rookie of Brandon Jones, and I have the 34 of Michael McDowell, who's going to get connected there, but actually no, he backs out, and now that's going to open the door for Harvick and Jones. Harvick clears us down the straightaway. McDowell leaves me, goes to the outside, and then now I'm going to have to rely on the 43 of Eric Almirola to try and help me out now as the 96 is clear. So Harvick and Brandon Jones run P1 and P2, and immediately I'm trying to make moves on the outside, so I go to the outside on lap 3, down the back straightaway to the outside of that 96. We pass him for second. Now the caution though actually comes out, and what it might be is for the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. I could not find it in the replay mode, but it does appear that Truex is potentially the reason for the caution, but Truex would not be done. This would not be the end of this race. He would still continue on here as nobody's coming to the pit lane, because we can make it now with this caution to the end of stage 2 on fuel, and unfortunately for us, we'll be restarting on the outside. So now, as you guys have really been adoring the amped feature, we are going to bring that back here for this upcoming restart as we restart in the second place alongside Kevin Harvick. Alright, there you had today's amped segment here in Talladega Superspeedway. You saw that the restart didn't quite go in our favor. It was looking very close between myself and Harvick there on the first couple laps, but we unfortunately now drop down to P6 here on this outside line, right behind the 34 of McDowell, who helped us earlier in the second stage, but now I leave him out here. I had a bit of a run, and I saw some help in front of him, so I tried to clear him going down the back straightaway into turns 3, but unfortunately, it's not going to quite work out. So now we're trapped here on this third lane. Unfortunately, now Harvick as well completely gives up the lead to Brandon Jones and Todd Gilliland, two rookies. I ended up leaving Kevin as well. I went to the inside of him. We were 3 wide in the middle between him as well as the 23 of Bubba Wallace. But then I jump up. I know how fast that 4-car of Kevin Harvick is. He proved it when he pushed us to the lead on that restart to start stage 2. So I was doing my best to actually help Kevin get him linked up with myself. Now as the 3-car for some reason didn't go all the way to the bottom, and now that allowed Bubba to go up the inside of him, so we were 3 wide again behind the 34 McDowell. Now as Harvick's going to get to my back bumper, and I'm going to use that to my advantage to make it 4 wide up the middle between McDowell, Austin Dillon, as well as the 23 of Bubba Wallace. So we just continue here on the outside with Harvick pushing us now as we go down towards turns 1. Only 5 laps to go in stage 2 now as we go down into the corner there, and now DeBenedetto gets up my inside, still with Harvick behind me there. Is actually, we kind of left Harvick for a moment, but I was trying to pick him back up because, like I just mentioned, I know how fast that 4-car is, so I was looking for any help I could get from Kevin, but unfortunately it wasn't quite working here as we came through now to lap 11 of the stage, still running about now P11 or so, but finally I get an opportunity to at least get down to the second lane under Austin Dillon, as Harvick unfortunately was just falling way off at this point. Now is Daniel Suarez. He's going to go by on the inside as I'm trying to find a chance to get back down in behind him. So sure enough, we finally get back down to the bottom. Then I would actually get up the inside of Daniel Suarez now on the 12th lap of this second stage. And we are back up inside the top 10 at this point. And surprisingly, fuel is actually becoming a bit of a factor here for some of these drivers, because they would start to pit the 37 of Priest, Suarez, a bunch of kind of mediocre cars coming into the pit lane there, and now we would be in P5 here. And then sure enough, down the back straightaway with 2 laps to go in the stage, I go up the inside of Corey LaJoie as well as the 96s of Brandon Jones, and we move now into the 3rd position. Then out of turns 4 now, the 23 and the 2 side by side for the lead. I make it 3 wide for the lead coming to the final lap of this second stage. Now is actually the 23 starting to run out of fuel. Bubba Wallace out of gas, and so is the 2-car of Brad Keselowski. It's a bunch of other cars coming out of the pit lane right now. Kyle Busch goes a lap down. Hamlin, he's going to go a lap down. Same as before, the 41 of Cole Custer, and I just get handed a second stage victory here because they all got caught up behind those slow cars coming out of the pit lane, so I just came through cruising to the second stage victory here in Talladega Superspeedway. That was a lot easier than it should have been. I don't know why they didn't go around the slower cars, but yeah, I mean, I guess I'll take it. So now we have 3 stage wins, I believe, on the season here. So surprisingly, usually when we have like this many stage wins, we've already won a race or so. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to pick up that first win of the season with this number 24 car for Hendrick Motorsports quite yet. Now, as all the drivers that came into the pit lane are going to be staying out, a bunch of them, or a handful of them, went a lap down, unfortunately. So this time, at the end of stage 1, we pitted from 24th, went up to the top 5. This time we pit from P1 and go down to P15 because of these 15 drivers that did not need to come into the pit lane at the end of stage 2. So now we start the 3rd and final stage, unfortunately outside of the top 10 with just 15 laps to go. So we only have 1 extra lap here in the final stage compared to the other 2 stages now as we are underway down towards turns 1. Not a good restart for myself. You kind of saw me get out of the throttle there to make sure nothing happened with Noah Gragson, and unfortunately we leave a big gap between himself and I now as we come through the center of 1 and 2. Now the 14 of Chase Briscoe trying to get to my outside now as we have help from the 51 of Joey Gacy as we go down this back straightaway. 3 by 3 already behind us and in front of us. A bit of a stack up there. Eyes lunge to the inside of the 49 of Chad Fincham here as we go down into turn 3 now as the 32 of Corey LaJoie finds himself out front, and then there is a McLaren up there in the mix. Not sure right now if that's Zane Smith or Eric Jones now has come through out of turn 4, so up into P13 as once again I go up the inside of the 49 of Chad Fincham as they're 3 wide in front of us. Bell, Gregson on the inside, DeBenedetto on the outside now as we continue to move our way forwards on the inside, completing the first lap of this 3rd and final stage, and now we find ourselves up inside the top 10 here on the Geico 500 in this 3rd stage as we come through the center of 1 and 2 as Gregson, he gets clear of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I'm now on the outside of the 23 of Bubba Wallace here as we go down the back straightaway now. I'm on the back of LaJoy. I had a huge run, actually, to the back of LaJoy. Then he was in my way, so I had to kind of get out of the throttle, give up the momentum I was carrying, and unfortunately, Noah Gragson was able to get to my inside, so I had to kind of just get in behind him, and then once again just settle in here in the 11th position. So now, as we came through to lap 35 through the center of 1 and 2 behind us, we had a McLaren in the lineup. Now, as we come through to turn 2, once again, a big run for myself as the 88 of William Byron goes spinning onto the apron in that number 88 Chevrolet as he gets hit by the 43 of Eric Almirola, it appears, and then he hits the inside while the caution comes out here in Talladega. Now, as soon as I moved up to that third lane, the 88 spins out from that third lane. Immediately, I thought I was actually going to get collected, but fortunately, Byron spun all the way down to the apron, and we were safe after that. Now, as everybody came into the pit lane to just top up on fuel, no tires necessary, as we get ready to go green from P7 for what could be the final restart of the day here in Talladega Superspeedway for the Geico 500 as we are back underway. Brad Keselowski, the 2012 Cup Series champion, leads the field to the green flag with 10 laps to go as we're right on the back of that number 23 of Bubba Wallace. There you see the McLaren there on the outside of Zane Smith, as well as Eric Jones, who's been taken 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. Now is a bit of a stack up in front of us as we close the gap to the back of that 23 car. A little bit of contact between myself and Bubba now as we have behind us the number 20 of Christopher Bell, of course the car that we drove for the past 2 seasons in our career mode to start our Cup Series career. A bunch of wins in that 20 car we had, and so far not a single win in the number 24 car, but hopefully we can change that here today, and we're in position to do so with 10 laps to go as we carry on here into the top 5 and even into P4, passing the 96 of Brandon Jones. Now is Brad Keselowski. He would end up actually getting hung out into turns 1, so now myself, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain move ourselves in front of the 2 car, so we now move into P3. Bubba into second, looking for his first career win, and same for Chastain, looking for his first win. Behind us, Bell looking for his 3rd career win as he picked up 2 wins last season in the career mode. I get to the inside now, though, with the 23 of Bubba Wallace down the back straightaway. As we go into turn 3, he left the door wide open, and Chastain leaves the door even more wide open than Bubba did as he goes all the way to the outside. I have help from Christopher Bell, and now we are going to go through to take the lead here in the Geico 500 at Talladega now in this final stage as we go down the front straightaway. Less than 10 laps to go at this point. But Christopher Bell, of course, he does not really want to wait around. He wants to get his first win in that number 20 car. That 3rd career win is what he's looking for here today at Talladega. A bit of a rough start for him this season. Now as Chase Elliott gets into the mix, he gets to the inside of Bell. I actually get down in front of Chase, but as we came through down the back straightaway, Bell had a huge run going into turn 3, and then unfortunately Chase gets hung out there, stays in the middle as Chad Fincham got to the inside, and now Bell looks like he might clear us, but we get a big push from behind out of turn 4 from Chad Fincham, and that will get us actually back to the lead here in Talladega now as we came through to lap 41 with the visor cam here. It's been a few races since we've had this as we continue to lead the way as Bell and Fincham were side by side even for that 2nd position, but now Chase Elliott pushing Bell right up to my right hand side as we exit turn 2 side by side again for the lead here in the final 10 laps at Talladega. But Chase pushed him so well that he puts him clear of myself as we go down the back as Chase tries to clear me as well, but fortunately for us we are able to maintain alongside that number 9 car of Chase Elliott and now get back into 2nd place just behind the 20 of Christopher Bell. So then I kind of decide to do something a little bit different here in Talladega. Instead of just trying to get the lead as soon as I can and try to hold off the field, I'm actually going to try and wait till late in this race to pounce on that 20 car, because every time we get to the lead, it's so hard to continue to hold on to the lead against the AI drivers. So I decided, you know what, we're going to wait till about 2 laps or so to go, and then we'll try and make a move. So here you see me on lap 43, just kind of chilling behind the number 20 of Bell, making sure I don't get connected with him, so that way he does not become a draft partner and go wherever I go now as we go down into turn 3. And I knew I had help from the 49 of Chad Fincham if I needed it, from the looks of it at least. So we just kind of continue waiting for the opportunity now as we came through on lap 44. You can see just kind of single file up here in the top 5 and whatnot, and then the rest of the pack, they're still going at it, but the less grouped up we are, honestly, the better for myself here. So now I was starting to open up the gap between myself and Bell on purpose. So we came through to lap 45. Look at the gap we have. I found this to be the perfect opportunity right here, as there was a good gap between myself and Bell, but now we are full throttle using that draft here down the back straightaway, approaching the final 2 laps, and now we slice up the inside of Christopher Bell as we go down this back straightaway into turn 3 side by side. Fortunately, we take the lead lead, but unfortunately, we do not clear the 20 car, which I was really hoping to do, but I do see behind us the 49 could potentially give us some help as we exit turn 4, but no, the 20, he almost gets clear. We sign draft him, we have a push from behind from the 49, but then we leave him out already as we go down this tri-oval. Chase Elliott in that 4th position, ready to pounce as well as we come through 2 laps to go here on the Geico 500. Myself, the 20 of Bell, Chad Fincham, Chase Elliott, all in the mix right now as myself and Elliott are lined up on the bottom, and now Fincham and Bell on the top. So Chevy's on the bottom, Toyota's on the top. We're about to see which manufacturer comes out on top as a 20 car. Unfortunately, is going to get himself clear down the back straightaway, and immediately he gets in front of me instead of helping Fincham. But now the 17s here and a bunch of other cars are getting into the mix as we go through. A lap and a half to go as we go down into turn 3. But Bell, he goes to the top and opens the door right back up for myself here as we come through the center of 3 and 4. Back to the lead, approaching the final lap now as the 9 car gets disconnected from me. The 49 gets some help from the 17 of Buescher, and now Fincham goes 3 wide through the middle, and he's going to be side by side with us for the lead as I had once again lost Elliott there as he got into the back of me, got me a little bit loose now as Fincham leads as we come through to start the final lap. And the Geico 500, unfortunately, Elliott leaves me. He goes to the outside. We drop now down into P3. It looks like we made our move too early now as Bell. He's also fallen out of the picture, and I just can't do anything at this point now as we exit turn 2, but we do have the draft. One more chance we might have here as we go down the back straightaway on this final lap in the Geico 500, and now you see Buescher goes up the inside of the 49 of Fincham, and now I'm going to make it 3 wide into turn 3 on this final lap in Talladega. Now 3 wide for the lead as we come through 3 and 4. Behind us we got Gase and the 9 of Elliott, then the 95 of Burton, Bell in the very far back there, as well as John Hunter, Nemechek, Hamlin. The McLaren's coming into the mix as we're still 3 wide down the front straightaway, but we get a big push from the 51 of Joey Gase, and he is going to push us clear of the pack as we come through to get our first victory for Hendrick Motorsports. It took 10 races to pick up that first win for this HMS team with the number 24 car, but I think this definitely validates the move that we made from Joe Gibbs Racing to HMS. Of course, we really had no choice because we pretty much got sacked from the Joe Gibbs Racing team for Christopher Bell. So it was nice to pick up that victory, though, here for the number 24 in the Razor paint scheme. Honestly, I didn't think Talladega would be the first track that we went and picked up the first win in this number 24 car, but either way, I'll take it. You know, we didn't win it on luck or anything. We made a 3 wide move into 3 and it just made it stick there, so it was very nice to pull that off for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Definitely a wild finish, to say the least. We were 3 wide there coming out of 4, and I thought it was going to continue like that all the way to the line. We came through into the tri-oval though, and Joey Gase gave me a very big push going into the tri-oval, and that allowed me to hold both Fincham, and then I forget who else it was there. Buescher, I think it was. Yeah, it was Chris Buescher, the other guy in the 3 wide. So we were able to hold both of them off and pick up the victory. As you see the rest of the finishing order on your screen, Hamlin, Bowman, Busch, they were all trapped a lap down, unfortunately. So they finished in the bottom 3. But nobody DNF'd here today in Talladega, surprisingly, as we move back into second in the points. Now only 11 points behind Truex for that regular season point standing lead, as we now have 8 playoff points as well. So far everything going pretty well here. We've had some up and downs already this season, as we had like 3 races in a row without a top 10. Then we had a good run in Bristol. Richmond was all right, and then we come through to pick up our first victory of the season finally at Talladega Superspeedway. So very happy to pick up that one as you see the playoff grid on your screen. So we are now the 8th different winner this season after 10 races. So definitely interesting to see how this playoff grid is going to turn out, with Harvick right now on the inside, or on the outside looking in. Elliott moves closer to being in the playoffs. Keselowski's though on the outside as well. But before we end this episode, I just want to say thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Aiden, Tony, Dylan, Joseph, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Mr. Johnson, NASCAR and Dogson, as well as a new member, Devin Roth. You guys, as I mentioned, every single episode help me out so much, and I really do appreciate you guys helping me like you do. And thank you everybody for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one for Dover. Have a great day, everybody.